Welcome back to another edition of Husker Huddle here. I'm your host, Jeremiah Searles, here on the Husker Sports Network. Tonight, we are really excited to have our guest, Nick Gates, newest extension for the New York Giants, former Nebraska Cornhusker offensive lineman. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hey, man, well, we appreciate you getting on here. First of all, let me be the one to say congratulations on your extension. That's the ultimate goal for anyone, to continue their NFL career, continue living that dream. So I know everyone back here in Huskerland was excited for you. Talk to us a little bit about what that was like for you going through that extension process.
It was awesome. I mean, I get the chills right now just thinking back to it. But it was a good feeling just to get that and have my agent tell me. I thought he was lying at first. I still had 2 more years on my deal, so I was kind of a little surprised they gave me it. But I can't be more happy to be in New York and be with the Giants, and this community is awesome. They're a bunch of blue collar workers, so that's what kind of football team we're trying to be.
That's awesome, Nick. I know you went. We flash back a couple years here. You leave Nebraska as an early leave. You go undrafted to the Giants. Probably not exactly how you thought your NFL career was going to start, but how did that kind of maybe motivate you, or how did that help you get to where you are today?
Yeah, definitely not how I wanted to start, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and it definitely helped me and motivate me, and get me going and make me work a little harder. Definitely as an undrafted guy, we gotta make the best opportunities of when we get a shot and things like that. And it's a little harder for us, but you just got to get in there every time when you can and just get the job done.
So you've played in almost 20 games here in the NFL. You've started over 3 or 5, I think is what the number that I saw. What position have you been working at, and where do you really feel comfortable along that offensive line now?
To be honest with you, they throw me in anywhere. I'm comfortable, anywhere. I was getting down those snaps at center was probably the most difficult thing, but I worked my butt off this offseason to get that done. And but yeah, I'm good for anywhere. Wherever they need me to go for the day, I go there and get the job done.
That's awesome. You got a young stud quarterback up there in Daniel Jones, who saw a lot of promising things out of him last year. What's it like working with a guy like that, and what can some of people that are watching the NFL this year expect out of a guy like that?
Oh yeah, no, he's he's a good guy. He hopefully makes a few good steps the next year, as most rookies do from their first season to their second season, especially at quarterback. But he's a good guy, team player. I'd love to go to war or go to battle with him any day of the week.
That's awesome, Nick. We talked a little bit off air about this off season being just so different for everyone. I mean, everyone's had to find a way to manage their way through the off season, trying to train, trying to get the best that they can to really go put a good product on the field this year. I know you moving around on the offensive line, having no OTAs, a shortened training camp. It's going to be tough. I mean, how have you been able to handle that, and kind of how did you handle this off season with the COVID-19?
So I got lucky this off season. My gym stayed open that I was working out at, and open for all professionals. So we had about 12 to 15 guys in there on a daily basis that were working out and doing all that. So I got lucky on that aspect. And other than that, OTAs on the Zoom calls were a little difficult to get used to at first, but once you get in a routine of getting on there for an hour or two, and it gets kind of easy. And once you kind of figure everybody's out and figure everybody who they are, it gets a little easier. But it's definitely a lot better in person.
Oh, for sure. I mean, how would you imagine if this was your rookie year? I mean, I can think back to my rookie year being an undrafted free agent. You needed every rep, every board meeting, every chair drill, every type of drill you could do. And to come into camp, how have you seen some of these rookies handle this training camp now that you're out on the field with no OTAs? Do they seem a little lost, or how are they handling it?
No, definitely coming in as a rookie then this year would be tough, especially as an undrafted guy, because you didn't get all those opportunities in OTA. But our rookies are taking it, with stride and, doing a pretty good job. We got a really good offensive line coach that, has worked his butt off with all of us, and, he's got us in the right direction.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little Husker football here. The news came out this year, or this week actually, no Big Ten football. And I know I've gone through the stages of grief of I've ate my feelings on a Wednesday, and then I've gotten angry the last few days. But how have you taken that news? I know you're deep in it in training camp right now, but how weird is it going to be not seeing the Huskers on Saturday in the fall?
I don't know, it's definitely gonna be weird. I always tried to, catch their game as much as possible every Saturday night, and try to talk a little crap with everybody in the the dining hall before the games on Sunday. But it'll definitely be different. It's a weird thing going on with everything right now, and we'll just take it with every stride.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that this offensive line, Nick, you still know quite a few guys that are on this line, only being about 3 years removed now. You got to see these guys when they were young pups, and now you got guys like Matt Farniak, Brandon Hymus, and I mean, you got a young guy in Cameron Jurgens, Bo Wilson out there that are really going to hopefully make a splash this year and eventually end up where you are in the NFL and where I was lucky enough to go. Talk to us a little bit about what these guys were like when they were younger, and you were the older guy and you were the senior. What did you see in some of these guys?
One guy that stood out to me, his true freshman year is Brandon Hymus, and he came out and he played really well when he had to go in there, and I think he started the last 5 games of his freshman, something like that, and I thought he did really well. And we played some tough teams. I think it was Ohio State, like Wisconsin, and he held his own as a 18-year-old kid. Just came to college, but I think he'll definitely make a shot at the pros. I could see him getting drafted. I didn't really get to watch him too much last year, but I think he has a shot, definitely. And then Matt Farniak, he's a good kid too. He real tough, blue collar kid that comes to work every day. And they were definitely a little quiet when they first got there, but now that they go back, they're always good to talk about and talk with and everything like that.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. When you're a young guy, and I'm sure you experience this in the NFL too, is when you come in, it's fly under the radar, do your job. Don't ruffle any feathers, and that's the same way in college too. So that's good to hear that those two guys did that. Little bit about this season as far as the NFL is scheduled to go as normal, but how has it been having? I don't want to call it a distraction, but almost as much as how's it been with the COVID-19 testing and all the hoopla around it? Have you guys, as players, really affected you much, or has it been pretty easy just to kind of do it and then just really focus on ball?
Our staff has really made it easy for us. Our training staff, they did a really good job. They moved us from our practice facility into the stadium, which is only about 200 yards away. And we're all literally, there's nothing's different. We just get tested every day, every morning. You just got to wake up a little bit earlier for that. But other than that, it's, they've done a really good job with us, making us feel like normal and getting us all, around each other and, following the protocols and everything. But they did a really good job.
Yeah, man, you should be I think that we should be playing preseason games this week, but no preseason this year. So, I mean, the first live bullets are going to be, for all the chips, all the table, man. I mean, how is that going to be different this year? I know you've experienced some preseason games before, and there's play a couple series, get out. Much more of a tune-up. But, the first time you take that field this time, it's going to be for all the marbles. How mentally have you started preparing for that?
To be honest, I really haven't thought too much. I just kind of take it day by day and, still trying to get in the playbook and trying to master that. And, we put the pads on Monday. So, just taking one step at a time and, we'll see. It's definitely a bummer with no preseason games. And, it's definitely tough for those rookies. Their first live bullets will definitely be a legit, Monday night football game that we play against the Steelers. So a couple of them, get a wake up call. And they, got Cameron Hayward lining up across you, TJ Watt, all those guys. So it'll be a little different for them. But I think they'll be good. I think
not enough people are talking about it, Nick, is the lack of opportunities for guys like you and myself that were undrafted free agents not having a preseason this year. If you look across the board, without a preseason, probably my first 2 years in the league, I don't know if I still have a job, or I don't know if I have the 6-year career NFL that I did have. I think that with no preseason, you're going to see an abnormal amount of undrafted free agent rookies get cut at the end of this year. And I think you're going to see an abnormal amount of rookies that are not going to play very much this year because you just can't trust them. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think I mean that along the lines of you just can't really trust a rookie to go out there and, like you said, against TJ Watt or Cameron Hayward, when you have a really big investment behind you as an offensive lineman in Daniel Jones, a first-round pick. But I think that the rookies are really going to struggle this year with no preseason. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a couple of my buddies that are undrafted. We've talked about it. And these guys aren't going to be able to get film out. It's not just making your team. It's you have 32 or 31 other opportunities to make somebody else's team during the preseason with all the film. So it'll be tough. It'll be tough for those guys this year. But I think they'll just try to figure it out and chug along with what's going on.
So. Absolutely. Well, Nick, we really appreciate you taking your time out of camp here. We know you're really busy. We're excited for you this season. Again, congratulations on the extension. I'm sure we'll be seeing out there starting for the Giants, man. You got a big year this year coming up. Tough division in there with the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Washington football team. But it should be a good time. Husker Nation's pulling for you as always. And next time you're in town, hit me up. We'll go out and we'll grab a drink.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. This was awesome. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely, Nick. Thank you so much. Thank you again for joining on this week's edition of Husker Huddle.